New Year's resolutions. There are a lot of downfalls to the sacred New Year's resolution list, and I'm here to give you my take on what you need to know to succeed and where you are going horribly wrong. Going big. The greatest downfall to every list I've seen is making a bunch of vague, unrealistic resolutions that are darn near impossible to achieve. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have big goals. I'm just saying you need to be realistic to your current situation. Let me give you a few examples with some popular and common resolutions. Going to the gym. And I mean this as in daily, weekly, I'm gonna have a six-pack by March E. I am all for shooting for the stars, champ, but let's be realistic here. If you've spent the past 12 months in full potato mode, barely making it out the door to get to work, you are not suddenly going to evolve into Liam Neeson the second the clock strikes 12, okay? It's called Disney magic, not Disney miracles. And as a previous regular gym goer and fitness buff, I can personally tell you it takes time to ease back into these things. And this doesn't mean you can't have big goals. It just means that you should give yourself some, wiggle room and have smaller, more realistic achievements on the way. So yes, six-pack, that'd be great, that'd be amazing. Had one of those ones, haven't seen it in a while. That is the long-term goal. That is the big goal. It's not gonna happen in a couple of months. You're going to first need to set a fitness regimen that works for you. So yeah, you wanna go every day of the week. Well, that's not possible because work, life, adulting, chores, there's a lot of things that could get in the way of that. So you need to set a schedule that works for you and have a rest day. Please don't skip having a rest day. That is the worst thing you can do for yourself. It's necessary. Just trust me on this. Finding true love. Personally, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but personally, I just see this as setting yourself up for failure. This isn't something you can just will into existence, and you definitely shouldn't be pushing for it in every social interaction you have. And there's a good chance with this sitting on your list, you could potentially just hop yourself into something that you weren't looking for, but hey, it's on the list, so might as well jump on into it, and then you're gonna wind up doing more harm than good. So might I just hop in there with an alternative resolution, an alternative to the true love's quest. Instead of focusing on love, just focus on the interaction part. Set a goal to be more social, meet more people, and follow up. Ah yes, the tale as old as time. I like you, you're cool. I like you too, you're also pretty cool. Let's exchange numbers. And they never spoke again. Or even worse than that, you just never asked for their number in the first place. The social interaction ends and then you're like, well, that would have been a nice new friend, and then they're gone and you never see them. Try to make and grow connections, get to know people, and stick with those people, okay? Everything else is going to build on that. Just focus on the connection part. That's the part that's the hard. That's why we're not at the true love stage, the love stage, because we're still working on the interactable stage. Stop eating out. We're looping back around. We're really just looping back around on this one. If eating out is not part of your regular life, you are not going to be able to cut it cold turkey. Here's the thing about eating out, okay? Even science could be against this one, because eating out for a lot of people, it's not just a quirky, fun, awesome thing to do. It's an addiction. It can become an addiction, especially if you're a regular out eater and you take that away. You are taking away a large amount of dopamine in your life. You get a dopamine rush from going to get a meal out, just like you do from chocolate and, cocaine. I don't know what other examples I could give you. And honestly, I don't think you need to stop eating out. There are some situations where it could be necessary, obviously. Sometimes you do just need to cut it out of your life. But a little fast food every once in a while, it's not gonna kill you, okay? It's just not. It's a nice little treat. But let's say you really do want to just want to cut it down a bit. No problem. Don't go cold turkey, okay? You're gonna hate yourself, you're gonna hate everybody around you, and you're just gonna be a grouchy, sad individual. It's not a good idea. Just give yourself an average number, okay? An average number of how much you eat out in a week or a month and give that as your hundo%. Okay, that's your 100 right there. Take about 25% of that, throw it away. All right, and then work on getting used to that situation. And then when you're used to that, if you're like, hey, I could do a little better, then you take that 100 and you take 50 away, and then so on and so forth until you get to where, you are happy. Living a stress-free life. Yeah, this is actually on the most common resolutions. It's in the list, and it's high up on there. I don't even think I need to go into detail on this one. It's just not possible. I figured that would be relatively obvious, especially in a world where life likes to, life ya on a daily basis. You really gotta just give yourself some wiggle room to get aggravated. And it's okay to get aggravated, because if you're constantly trying to live a completely stress-free life, you're setting yourself up for failure. Again, you can reduce the stress in your life, but you can't just live an entirely stress-free life. That's not human. Now, I do find it absolutely hilarious that directly following the whole stress-free life thing, there's quitting porn. And I want to meet the courageous individual who has put those two on the same list. There's got to be one out there who is just like, I want to live a stress-free life and I'm quitting porn. Like, you are one grumpy SOB, okay? There's no way around that. Those two, impossible. Okay, so now that we've talked about the resolutions themselves, we are going to move on to the famously impossible part, which is sticking with it. Okay, we're on to problem number 2, the fallout rate. So how many people stick with their resolutions all the way out to the end of the new year? Well, you know what? I've got that for you. Looked up the science for it. Somebody scienced it and I found it. It is a whopping and absolutely astonishing 1%. However, it's not as bad as you think, because a sturdy 6% actually go on to permanently implement their resolutions into their daily life. So we're looking at like 7% respectfully. But as you can see, there is a steady decline rate at the sweet spot of 2 to 3 months. That's the cutoff point for a lot of people. And this is my point in like flooding your resolution list with all of these big, impossible, ambiguous goals. At this point, you're just setting yourself up for failure, but we can fix that if we just have like, one big goal, and it still can't be unrealistic. We still have to keep in mind to make it a realistic goal, and then we could just follow that up. We just follow that up with smaller, achievable goals instead of having like 15 large, unrealistic, terrifying goals that's just not going to happen. You are not going to become an entirely new person by the end of the year. I mean, you could become an entirely new person. Don't stress yourself out like that. Live a stress-free life. We've talked about this, okay? Put it on your list, realistically. Don't expect to live a life where you're just happy all the time. That would just be terrifying. How many resolutions should you have? Like, what is the point where it's too much? What is the point where it's too little? Where is the resolution sweet spot? So, I would just put your pens and papers down. Hold on before you go filling out that college-ruled sheet of paper all the way to the end. Now, I know some people who make like 20 resolutions. I also know some people who just make one resolution to focus on for the entire year. Science gives us the nice little sweet spot of 3. The majority of people stick to about 3 resolutions. Now, I personally think that's a good number. It's not too big, it's not too crazy. You could have like your one large goal followed by a couple tinier ones, and you could focus on those for the rest of the year. It's not to say that you couldn't have more. I don't think you should go above 8. I think that would be kind of like my personal cutoff point. That seems like you're going a bit much over at that point. But again, it all depends on your resolutions. Like you could be a type of person that has the tiniest, easiest to accomplish resolutions, and you put like 20 of them on a list and you're just knocking them out like 5 or 6 a month. Most of the time though, people do have big changes in their life. So don't go too crazy. Stick below 8, majorities at 3, cut it at 5, and you should be nice and dandy. Huh? Did I reach my 2023 goals? Did I reach mine? I actually only had 1 this year, and no, I did not reach it. You see, my 2023 goal, my goal was to reach 1K subscribers in the first year of my channel. as of right now, that has not happened. We are super close. We are right on the cusp of it. But no, it has not happened. We are not there. And honestly, that's okay. I don't think we're going to reach it by the time, the clock strikes 12 on the 31st. I don't think it's going to happen regardless of how close we are. It's just the growth rate is not there. But honestly, I am so happy with the progress this channel has made in only 1 year. Like, the changes this channel has gone through from starting as just a strictly gaming channel that I ran off of TV and didn't know how to edit on anything. So basically I had to record everything in one shot. So I didn't have separate video from game. I would have to like just record them together. And for some reason the box would just float off in the distance. Like, it wasn't cornered, it was just floating in the corner, and the mic was like a snowball. I bounced on a few paint cans and it was, I edited everything on my phone on basically a PowerPoint app. It was not great. So honestly, the strides and the progress we have made and the things I have learned, I have done nothing but learn this year. On top of that, we upgraded from our oh, this is what we're doing channel to me finally having the confidence to create the Chaos Variety channel, where I can do whatever I please here. I am not strictly stuck on doing one thing, and I am obsessed with that change, because back when I started content creating years ago, I actually started on Musical.ly, and if you don't know what Musical.ly is, it was what TikTok was before it became TikTok. And I used to do videos practically every day. I did comedy skits and I did little lip syncs and challenges, and it was amazing. And I still have a pretty decent following. It's kind of dead though. I'm pretty sure all the people who used to follow me on there are they're not dead. They're fine. I'm sure most of them, I mean, life, I don't really know, but I'm sure they're okay. They're just not active on TikTok anymore. So I've kind of hopped back on there and I'm re-exploring that world. But I would just like to say a huge and a massive thank you to all of you for coming along on this crazy journey this past year with me. And the growth we have made has been insane. And the community we have made has been absolutely amazing. So just thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have an amazing, fun, safe celebration. And I will see you Booskies next year then, Papa.